Hello boys and girls, Achilles here once a motherfucking again with another build. Today we're gonna talk about the top of the food chain in the Witch Doctor territory, Jade Harvester. Jade Harvester at the moment I believe is the highest Witch Doctor solo, and we're gonna talk about the, oh yeah, even in season I believe so. Yeah. And we are going to talk about how the build works, the mechanics of it, best the stats, and pretty much the whole shebang. Jade Harvester said, if I'm not mistaken, by my calculations, has the highest multiplier in the game. First we're gonna talk about the set pieces. We're obviously wearing 6-piece. If you're playing in season and you basically get the free ring or royal grand, you can wear this. I can't pronounce it. What the fuck? Quetzalcoatl, I guess. Quetzalcoatl. You can wear Quetzalcoatl helm, and instead in the cube we can use various items such as strong arms, racers, or this pet belt of transcendence. It actually gives you 15 fetish sycophants, and it's pretty much a wall of pets that protects you from getting auto attacked. But yeah, in non-season we don't have that luxury, so we're just gonna cube Quetzalcoatl and wear 6-piece. The Jade Harvester 2-piece bonus is basically when you press Haunt and it lands on a target that is already affected by Haunt, you instantly deal 3,500 seconds worth of Haunt. Remember, that is not a percent. Like 3,500% extra damage is equivalent of a 35 multiplier. This is a 3,500 second, so essentially it's a 350,000 multi. It's a ridiculous number, and I tell you why they needed to go to this extent with this set in order for it to function. Anyway, so if you haunt a target that is already haunted, it will deal 3,500 second worth of haunt. It's a little bit less than an hour. The 4-piece bonus is obviously this Soul Harvest. Gains the effect of every rune, so we don't need to choose a rune. We can choose whatever we want. Doesn't matter what we choose. I'll tell you that later as well. And you can even choose no runes. And every time that you use Soul Harvest, which is your damage dealer, your 6-piece bonus, every time you use Haunt or Locust Swarm, it reduces the cooldown of Soul Harvest, which is your damage dealer. That's why we need to utilize a little bit of cooldown, not a lot, in our build. And the 6-piece bonus is, whenever we use Soul Harvest, it will consume our dots, or it says any damage over time effect, but for the purpose of this build, it's basically Haunt and Locust Swarm. We'll consume those and deal damage equal to 10,000 second worth of those dots. Okay, so since we're using Creeping Death, our Haunt and Locust Swarm are no longer 12 seconds and 8 seconds. They are effectively 19,800. It's like 20k, 20,000 seconds. So what happens is we can effectively press Soul Harvest twice before our dots run out. Well, you still see some mobs affected by these, because sometimes a target dies before this whole duration runs out and the Haunt jumps to another target. Therefore, it's still basically a number on it, but it's not. It's the remaining duration of Haunt. It's not the full duration. unless you spam haunt on it again. So let's say if this target dies with like 5,000 seconds of haunt and jumps to a nearby target, that haunt is 5,000 seconds. Unless you press haunt on it again, it does not go to the full duration, therefore you don't get the full damage, which is so easy fixable with our playstyle. Anyway, so the Soul Harvest consumes our dots, deal 10,000 seconds worth of our dots damage. Cripping Death increase our dot duration to 20,000. And the Helm, Quasicoral, it says these dots do their damage in half the normal duration. The thing is, that duration that was increased by a passive to 20k, this doesn't make it 10k. This makes these two dots tick faster, but still in 20,000 seconds. So effectively this doubles our damage. Quasicoral literally is doubles our damage. Actually, it's a lot more than double because of the Jade 6-piece, but essentially if we didn't have the Jade set, just Quasicoral and the set and the passive combination doubles our damage. The other item we use in the cube is the Ring of Emptiness. Because we are using both Locust Swarm and Haunt, Ring of Emptiness increase our damage by a flat 300%, a 4 times multiplier. And in our weapon slot we use Furnace because due to the nature of our build and a lot of area damage that we're utilizing, I can get another 20% here, but I just couldn't be fucked to roll it better than that. Due to the nature of our build and area damage that we're using, we decimate trash and we're gonna have trouble killing elites, so this item comes in handy. So basically our toughness of this build comes from Lacumba, 6% per stack of Soul Harvest, Sacred Harvester 10 stacks, that's 60% damage reduction. We had Soul Harvest giving us all the runes. One of the runes actually gives us 10% armor, 10 stacks of it, 100% armor. And this is where I loved Jade changes. They added a 50% more damage reduction to the Soul Harvest for 12 seconds. So that's what made this build possible, or basically viable. We are utilizing Endless Walk Set, obviously, with the Poison rune. And since our dot damage are both poison, I tell you, even the Cloud of Insect, Locust Swarm is poison, because of Vile Hive gets both of the runes. It's the same thing as our 4-piece Jade Harvester that gets Soul Harvester, gets all the runes. Doesn't matter, I can use fire, I can use nothing, and I still get all the runes. This is the same thing. Our Locust Swarm gains the Pestilence runes, which is a poison rune, as well as Cloud of Insect. The damage is not determined by the rune we choose. It's actually determined by the highest elemental damage we have. The damage of Soul Harvest, although the 6-piece, is determined by the rune we choose. But since we have both the runes here, we gain the poison. So poison damage, poison skill on 2 pieces, which we can get 40% elemental damage. So what happens? We said it grabs 10,000 seconds of these things. So why such a huge multiplier? I tell you why. Because there's nothing else. Literally, beside Ring of Emptiness, there's no other multiplier to this set. Nothing. This is Ring of Emptiness and Intellect. That's about it. We have one multiplier to Locust Swarm, which is Vile Hive. That's why we want a maximum Vile Hive. So what happens is, it calculates how much damage this does. Weapon damage times elemental damage times intellect times Vile Hive multiplied by Emptiness and Endless Walk Set. Grabs that number, which is a small number. It's like in millions. and then times 10,000. So essentially it's like if you want a 10,000 multiplier like a launch set, it would be like a 98 and a half multiplier. So it would be times 98 and a half. That's a 10,000 multiplier. This literally times 10,000. In terms of multiplier, if you think about it, this is a 1,000,000% multiplier. So that's why it is needed to be such a big number, because there's no other multipliers. And if one day they introduce something that increases the damage of Hunt or Locust Swarm, this build will explode. Solo 115 coming. Alright, so basically the setup is Hunt, Poison Spirit. This rune used to be bugged, and it used to give you that 20% damage increase as a separate multiplier. I'm not sure if it's still bugged or they fixed it. Could be. If not, it's a 20% active damage, which is pretty good, and also the only poison rune. Piranha's Piranado, just to stack mobs together, and this pulls mobs in. This is a really good skill to use in this setup because of our area damage. Soul Harvest, our damage dealer, it doesn't matter what rune you use. Horrify, frightening aspect for 50% more armor. This actually adds up on top of our Soul Harvest armor. The Spirit Walk, Honored Guest. I'm using the Honored Guest because I like to spam a lot. Especially I like to keep refreshing my Locust Swarm, so I want that 20% mana to come back up. You can use different runes. You can use Severance for just run through stuff you don't want to kill, or Jaunt for more survivability. Obviously makes it 2 second, 3 second, 1 second extra is not bad. Locust Swarm, Cloud of Insects for 25% damage reduction. Our passives would be Confidence Ritual, 25% separate multiplier. Grave Injustice, whenever we kill something, reduces the cooldown of all of our skills by 1 second. Also we gain 1% life and 1% mana. It is, in my opinion, essential for this build, because we want to spam the Soul Harvest as much as possible. Cripping Death, it's a must in this build. Obviously it's the reason we do that much damage. Spirit Vessel, Cheat Death. You can use what else? Pierce the Veil. Swampland? There's not much, to be honest. You use Gruesome Feast and get your followers some setup to give you globes. It's just not much you can use here. So Spirit Vessel is a great choice. Okay. Now as I said, we are spamming Hunt, and we need to put Hunt and Locust Swarm on everything possible. So instead of like a Witching Hour, we're going to be using Hunting Griddle. Hunt releases 1 extra spirit. So basically, instead of 1, we release 2 spirits. As you can see, there are 2 of them. If you hit a single target with this, this is very important. Like for example on RG, just because we're using this belt, the first Hunt deals damage, the second Hunt counts as if the second piece, the 2 pieces of Jade Harvester hits the target. So we will get a proc with only 1 Hunt. On the second Hunt, we get 2 procs of the Jade Harvester. The reason for that is Hunt is the only damage over time effect in the game with proc coefficient of 1. I'm not gonna go into it. I don't want to make this video too long. I'm just gonna show you the build and the playstyle of it, and I hope you guys enjoy. I think we can do a 115. Is it too high? No, 115 should be fine. Oh, I forgot to mention the gems. That Pen of the Trap, Bread and Butter of every single build in the game. We're gonna be using Gorgor's Swiftness because of not just the attack speed, also the cooldown. I told you, we need cooldown. We're missing actually cooldown on our shoulders. We could get a quad gloves, that would be great. Or like trifecta weapon, which we don't have. Or a cooldown more than 5% here. But regardless, we want area damage everywhere. So that for that much needed cooldown, and obviously Bane of the Stricken, because we want to kill the boss, not just look at him. 115 should be fine. We're gonna get our stacks here. We only got 7 stacks, so... Oh my god. It's like I'm not even wearing items. Now imagine this is squishiness without that buff to survivability. This is just sad. Because there's nothing here. As you guys can see. We just melt through this. We have COE, so to be most effective, we want to be able to do 2 soul harvests at least in our COE cycle. As you guys can see, I waited, did 1, and did 2. Because of the passive Grave Injustice that we're using, we are gonna get our cooldown back instantly after killing something, and we might even do more than I just did 4 right there. So because we're gonna be killing stuff, why not just do it in poison to get the cooldown back and be able to maximize our damage. Obviously, because of the pestilence runes, we don't need to spam our Locust Swarm, because Pestilence Rune basically makes Locust Swarm to jump to 1 additional target, and since Locust Swarm already jumping to 1 additional, it basically makes it spread indefinitely. So 1 press of it and we will get everything on our screen infected with Locust Swarm. So we press that once, and then for the rest of the fight we just haunt. After a couple of basically our couple of soul harvests in our poison, as you guys can see, it's coming up, and poison, there you go. After that, if I want to stay more, then I press 1 more Locust Swarm, because I want to refresh the dots. You guys remember the duration of them, right? So press the Locust Swarm once. We couldn't press more than 1 soul harvest during our poison, so we're just gonna spam haunt. We're gonna use the frightening aspect during our poison. Why? Because we wanna live. I forgot to mention that Horrify, frightening aspect, great maps. What the fuck? Horrify, frightening aspect, it fears mobs as well. So that 50% armor is the main reason we're using that spell, but it has more use than just giving us 50% armor. It can fear and root everything. As you guys can see, there you go. Everything is feared. So I'm spamming haunt to reduce my soul harvest cooldown as much as possible. This is horrendous. This is so bad. Alright, we got everything. There you go. So for this level I only need to do 2 soul harvests to kill any pack. But we need 2 basically soul harvests in a COE cycle to kill an elite pack here. Depends on your gear. Paragon might need different, I mean the experience might vary, but this build is ridiculously strong, and as I mentioned, doesn't have many multipliers, so even with low Paragon, even with a Brown, 2k Paragon in season, you should be able to easily do 115 plus. And obviously if you want to fish and not get sewers, like me here. Oh, okay. These things. There are bosses and some affixes that are your enemy. Well, one affix. And also mobs that borrow, like leapers and borrowers. And illusionist affix, what it does, it cleanses itself from all dots, just like these mobs, by the way. They cleanse themselves when they go below 5% health. Illusionist, the moment. Are you serious, game? I hate this game so much. Fix the game, please. Illusionist mob cleanse themselves from all your dots the moment they illusion. So, if you find an illusionist pack and you're pushing, I suggest skipping it straight away. Wow, that was the power of area damage. You guys can see what area damage does in this build. Wonders. So, as I said, I can't emphasize more that how strong this build is. So don't think about it that, oh yep, I'm 1500 Paragon in season and I can't play this. No, you can easily probably even do 118, maybe 120 even with that Paragon in season. Because remember, you guys get 1 extra item in season. So that could be strong arms braces, which, as I said before, it's a separate multiplier. They add together, but all together they are separately multiply your damage. Come on! Okay, we made it to poison. Make sure to keep up your Horrify buff. I usually use it before I go into poison, because then, as you guys can see, if I don't have it, these guys turn around and are like, hey, you're here in melee range, let us kill you. So out of poison, I'm just spamming Haunt. Right in poison I use it, go into Archie, press 1 Soul Harvest and everything, guys. So I use this Horrify as sort of a CC, so I can walk into density and survive them. Or you can just get shield piling, you know. Are we gonna actually clear this whole thing in a sewers? 2 sewers back to back. I love this game. Not really. When are you gonna fix this game? Never! Double it. Someone asked me, what would you want for seasonal theme? What's your suggestion for season 17? Season of the good old maps. I want the season 5 maps to be back, and I want these maps to be gone. Like, look at this. What the I think we have enough trash to spawn, to be honest. Pressing it once, unfortunately. There you go. I was gonna say we didn't kill enough things. Yay, we spawn in a sewer. Yay. This is all I wanted for Christmas. Spawn in the sewers. We're gonna fear him straight up. Oh Jesus, he hits hard. I don't think we can. No, he's. Oh, We can. I thought he's immune to our dots. That Fisher. You guys can see how he's getting chunked by just me pressing Haunt. Look at this. You guys gotta make sure you reapply your soul heart. Oh my god. Relax, buddy. What the fuck? We lost our stacks of soul harvest, so we have to keep spamming to get it back. He's gotta be sure to press our Locust Swan every now and then, because we have to refresh it. Remember, couple soul harvest and it's gone. There you go. Can I imagine this build without that 50% damage reduction? Yeah, good luck surviving. This is pretty much the build as you guys saw the demonstration. Just a quick overview on the stats. What we want in this build is area damage. So crit hit damage everywhere possible, and then we go for area damage. And we focus on Haunt, which we can get on shoulders, chest piece, and offhand if you have a better one. Like, even that one is not great, because we want cooldown, crit, and Haunt. Or, well, I would choose Haunt over area damage here, but yes. But essentially, this is the build. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment down below for me and tell me what you guys want to see next.